Hello there. I'm Erika Chavez, Director of Community Relations at SmithLife Homecare. Welcome to the Ask the Expert series. For those unfamiliar with SmithLife Homecare, we are affiliated with Charles E. Smith Life Communities, a reputable elder care brand with over a century of community service. We operate in Washington, D.C. and Montgomery County. The SmithLife Home Care at the Ask the Expert series is dedicated to sharing essential insights and resources for aging in place. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing our esteemed guest, Bob Bacheler. Am I saying it right, Bob? The
Yes,
last
yes,
name?
you are, Erica.
Okay, thank you. He's the director of Flying Angels. Thank you, Bob, for being here and shedding light on your work.
Oh, it's
Let's
my pleasure,
jump.
Erica. Thank you
Thank
for having
you.
me.
Thank you. So let's jump in with a few questions. So
Okay.
could you briefly introduce yourself and describe your role at Flying Angels?
Okay. So first and foremost, I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse now for over 30 years. My background, as with many guys who go into nursing, is trauma, burn, ICU, and all those exciting things. And that's where I spent the first 15 years of my career. As with most guys, I wanted to be a flight nurse, but I live in Philadelphia, and there aren't a whole lot of opportunities for that. Fortunately, I live near a major airport, Philadelphia International Airport, and many years ago, a friend of mine asked me to help move his grandfather, who had dementia, from Florida up to Canada. So I said, sure, that sounds like a lot of fun. I will be happy to go ahead and do it. And I went down to Florida and I picked him up, and he was a cantankerous old cuss. But we wound up getting on the airplane after some delays, and we're flying along, and I'm reading Sky Mall, which is probably going to date me there for the younger folks. And all of a sudden, my patient stands up and says, "Help, help, I'm being kidnapped, I'm being kidnapped." So I did what any good nurse would do. I gave him a healthy dose of sedation right to his pant leg. He sat down, and I said, "You know what? This is what I want to do for the rest of my career." And that was just over 15 years ago. And here we are now with Flying Angels. We have doctors and nurses who accompany people who have medical or cognitive needs on the commercial airlines, Delta, American, United, domestically, internationally, Lufthansa, Korean Air, China Air. So what we're doing in the simplest form is we're taking a doctor or a nurse, 90% of the time it's a nurse, picking up a patient, taking him to a major airport, flying him in a first class seat on a commercial airline with 200 of their best friends flying behind them, and then taking them to where they need to go.
So you already responded the second question, which is wonderful. So I really love the story. Having a new company and having that background, the reason why you're on this business, this is amazing, and I love it.
Mhm.
Can
Thank
you
you.
please give us, you mentioned already a little bit about the services, but can
Mhm.
you please talk more about it? So what is involved on service for flying with Flying Angels?
So simply put, our service is a bedside to bedside service. A family member, let's say they have a grandmother who lives in San Francisco, and the family is scattered all over the country, and they want her located at an assisted living or a skilled nursing facility in Florida. They reach out to us, and we make all of the arrangements. We coordinate with her caregivers, whether she's in a facility or her doctors if she's in a home. On the date of travel, our nurse flies out, our nurse flies out the day before so she can meet with a patient. But the morning of flight, we pick the patient up at the residence or facility, and then take them to the airport, then fly with them on a commercial flight to where their destination is, and then take them to their destination. Our ground transportation is anything from sedan services for our patients who are ambulatory. The vast majority of our patients are non-ambulatory, so we have special custom wheelchairs that recline, so we can transfer a patient from a bedside into a reclining chair, and then taking them to the airport, and then transfer them into a first class seat. and then fly with them where they want to go. One of the keys to our service is we're flying patients on the commercial airlines. So patients do need to be able to tolerate sitting up during the takeoff and landing process. Now, different airlines have different recline, but for the most part, one of the limitations is they have to physiologically be able to tolerate sitting. We do a lot of work with the spinal cord rehabilitation centers around the country, the terrific centers of excellence that provide rehabilitation for spinal cord injuries, both paraplegics and quadriplegics. So our patients don't need to be able to ambulate, they don't need to be able to move at all, but they need to physiologically be able to sit. We have the tools and the expertise to be able to get somebody from their bedside into an aircraft seat and then back out at the other end.
Is this service just inside of United States, or you can also provide, overseas?
We fly patients all over the world. We work with several companies who, if they have a member who sustains an injury overseas, they will often call us up and say, "Hey, we have a member who broke her leg while traveling in China. Go get her and bring her back." We do a lot of repatriations for foreign nationals who are here in the U.S. and who, maybe under hospice care or want to get home. We transport a lot of folks for hospitals who patients who are kind of stuck here in the healthcare system but are foreign nationals, so they don't have insurance. We will facilitate getting them back to their home country and their families.
This sounds really, really cool. I never heard of this. I heard probably in the past that this kind of service it was out there, but it was a real pleasure to meet you and knowing someone that has this kind of services available for our seniors. If someone is interested in getting your services, what are the steps they should take and where can they find more information?
The simplest way to go is just go to our website, which is www.flyingangels.com. One of the things that I do encourage people to do is to just Google Flying Angels Philadelphia. And one of the things I like about that is not only can they find our page, but they can also find things that have other clients have said about us. We're very happy to have over 300 Google and Facebook and Yelp reviews, and people have shared their experiences. And I can go on for hours talking about what we do and how terrific we are. But personally, I would much rather listen to what other people say about us. And I think what other people say has far more gravitas and credibility than anything I can ever say.
100% agree. So that's something that is really important at the SmithLife Homecare reviews. So just like you said, people can say, you can say so many good things because it's your company, but when other people come in and say, okay, they're wonderful, that's what really is important.
Absolutely.
Are there any aspects about flying angels that you haven't mentioned that we should be aware of?
One of the things that I do want to stress is we're set up to be a cost-effective alternative to air ambulance. We're not a charity. Our service domestically can run about $10,000 to transport somebody. Every trip is customized. If I had billions of dollars, I would probably want to be able to provide charity services. But we buy tickets from the airlines. We are our own travel agent. Our staff and nurses they work for us. I mean, they're employees, so they're professionals. So that's the key. It's not an inexpensive service, but if you compare it to the alternatives, it is very cost effective.
Thank you for mentioning that. It's important. I know our seniors and our viewers, they know that how expensive that could be. But the fact that you're mentioning that you're really competitive is important. Thank you so much.
My
So
pleasure.
before we wrap up, we'll provide contact details about Flying Angels so you can learn more about their initiatives and reach out to Bob and his team. Thank you all for tuning in, and both your willingness to share these insights with our audience is much appreciated. So stay tuned for our upcoming chapters in the As the Expert series. Goodbye for now. Thanks.
Thank you.